All right, YouTube, what is up, man? We got fantastic hip hop. Why Drake label just dropped Meet the Grams. Let's see what we got going on. Let's get it.
To Drake. Long breeze and gentlograms, as Drake has just created even more drama with his lawsuit over Not Like Us and thought that this was going to be the moment where he just shocked the hip-hop world with 107 pages of the most ridiculous stuff that you have ever heard. And this time where Drake thought becoming rap's not just first Karen, but Super Karen was going to finally put him ahead in this situation that he has put himself in, his label UMG has stopped all of this and has come right out. And as Drake is pushing hip-hop, them, the music industry, Kendrick Lamar, and a lot else to a place where everyone is getting annoyed and dragged down with these ridiculous claims. Well, Drake's label just gave up on ever fixing this situation and are now just trying to end the guy's career altogether because they just released a statement that ultimately is showing that Drake's career is going to be over when this is all said and done. Because with them telling Drake that he should have been careful for what he wished for here.
Ooh, boy, this right here. Like, I don't. The one thing that everybody don't understand about Drake is he think he's innocent. Like, either he's delusional or he really think that he got all of those streams based on him and his music. The same thing that he's alluding to what Kendrick Lamar could be easily proven that they did it for Drake. So this lawsuit literally makes no sense at all, because what this is saying, all right, in discovery, you're going to get our information and I'm going to get your information. I mean, which they already have, right? UMG already has everything, but like, are you sure you want everybody to know what you've been doing and how we've been treating you? And so this doesn't make any sense. Like, he's like a suicide bomber at this point. Drake is a suicide bomber at this point. He willing to off himself just to get a victory. Right? Just to win the victory, he's willing to blow himself up.
I mean, we have never seen a label talk like this, and this shows how they are not just ready to expose Drake's truth themselves, but that maybe Kendrick was right about saying the rabbit hole was so deep, because there is so much that he has been trying to hide from us that is all going to come out. And now, before we go any further into all of this, which stick around because there is a lot, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now, as this entire thing that Drake is doing is really just bigger than a rap beef, and even his career, as this is something that is going to affect the future of rap music and expression in art no matter what, really be sure to leave that like so everyone can see just how pathetic this guy is, but how the end is starting to come. And so now, with that said, when it comes to Drake, I mean, the guy has officially messed around and is finding out why not to beef with the record label that has built your entire career. Because after all he has been doing is releasing petty claims, twisting narratives, and using fan pages in these papers to defend what he has to say, now
I can't believe that he has Twitter fan pages cited in his lawsuit. He's using, man, this dude is spiraling out of control. Yo, either Kendrick Lamar is a genius or Drake is a dummy. I think it's both.
Now as Drake is trying to move this thing forward and access things such as Kendrick Lamar's record contract to prove whatever he is trying to do, UMG has clapped back at Drake and let him know that despite thinking that he is winning this thing and that he is going to get all of the info he needs to take down the industry and get back at Kendrick, well, for Drake, and what they let him know is that now all of the details and information that have been behind the scenes are going to get exposed as well. And with the label literally telling him to be careful what he wishes for, the discovery process goes both ways. I mean, if I was Drake and I knew the games that I've been playing for so long, I would be spiraling right now, and I am sure that's exactly what he is doing. Because what I don't think Drake has thought through here is that this label has all of the dirt on him and knows everything about how he has been able to get to where he is at this point, whether it's about his music or maybe even stuff that they have had to hide to help his image.
Exactly. Boy, Drake is, at this moment, like I said, Drake is ready to off himself just to think that he's winning.
Now, with the label telling Drake that all of this is going to come out, which is what they showed, and I am sure this is going to just ruin Drake like we have never seen before, I mean, this is not going to end well for the guy. And when we look at Drake and what he did to cause this, when we see how far he just pushed everything, even for this case's standards, you can't blame them for what they have done and why they are just going to full-on end Drake's career. Because with Drake's latest pieces of paperwork, he is trying to come after everyone and ruin everything that Kendrick Lamar, the music industry, and hip-hop has now pushed to achieve. As really, what we have on our hands from this guy this time around is what happens when straight delusion is just taken to levels that we have never seen. Because really, while even the biggest yes men in the past have been able to stop somebody from humiliating themselves this bad, this is just not the case here, because with what Drake has done and is now standing in more than ever, you can't even call this a Karen move anymore, because with how bad and far Drake is trying to push this all, he's really turning himself into a super Karen, because while there was some questions about what angles Drake was going to be using as he is going further and further into the most pathetic thing any rapper has ever done, well, from fake streams to some of the weirdest personal things you could want to know about Kendrick Lamar, Drake is coming for everything here, and it's getting really weird, especially with how much he is trying to just dig into everything he possibly can about Kendrick, his record contracts, and a lot more about him. And I mean, if you thought that this thing wasn't about Kendrick Lamar, it's never been more clear that this really is about ruining his reputation more than anything else, because when we go into this thing, I mean, Drake is trying to straight up manipulate everyone and everything here, and it's honestly so sad and pathetic how twisted this all is. And with this new version of a Karen moment heard around the entire music industry, when we really break this all down, what Drake has done is so troubling, because on one hand, what he has pretty much been doing and has been waiting to now just put out to everyone is this ultimate Karen statement, which is now officially taking everything that Kendrick Lamar did at the Super Bowl and Grammys, and he's trying to say that these things were not the result and awards of winning the biggest rap beef ever, because that's really what it was, and we have all been able to understand that. And Drake is trying to make the worst and most out there claims about what all of these events did and what they always represented. And I mean, Drake's really got some ego, because with some of the stuff he is trying to say happened, and really with how elaborate he believes some of these plans and plays were by his label, I don't even know how you can try to be a respected rapper after this, because Drake is just seeing things different than they actually were. Because let's take the Super Bowl, for example. What Drake and his team is trying to say happened there is that the entire purpose and driving point of the show was to intentionally completely dismantle Drake's character, and as they describe how big this show was and how massive of an event it happened to be. Which, quick side note, it at least was satisfying knowing that when it comes to these suits, even Drake has to admit that the Super Bowl indeed was the biggest ever, because we still know that he did not want to say that whatsoever. But with that
exactly, right? So he's pretty much admitting that, you know, Kendrick Lamar had the biggest spotlight of all time. So he in a weird way, he's giving Kendrick his credit.
That what Drake and his team try to say here and make so dramatic is that they quote-unquote hope that this is the last Super Bowl halftime show that is used by the music industry and the NFL to purposefully end another artist's career intentionally. And I mean, from Drake trying to act like UMG sat with Kendrick and forced him to do the halftime show in a way, because just like with Not Like Us as a song, he really believes that this was all designed intentionally by the industry to take Drake down and not just a single artist in the lyrical back and forth. And with Drake also saying the same thing about the Grammys, which he then is trying to push the narrative that the industry made sure Kendrick Lamar got those awards undeservingly, all to ensure that Drake was once again at the center of all the shows. And in this, Drake is listing what fan pages have said to try and theorize what's happening here, which only makes this thing seem all the more ridiculous. I mean, come on, we see the play here, and I speak for everyone when we say just let it go, because for Drake to try and flip Not Like Us and what it meant as something much bigger than a diss track that was made by a rapper he is in a beef with that simply ended up being better and more effective than anything he was able to do, I mean, it's just shameful that you're even trying to say this. And again, when we go back to this idea that Drake is mad at the label and wants nothing to do with Kendrick, which is what he wants to say, you can't then say that Kendrick is working with this same industry to make sure that Drake's image keeps getting taken down in this planned out way. And I mean, from here to everything else Drake adds here, it's clear that he really wanted to make this thing the most petty document he ever has. It's clear that he really wanted to make this the most petty statement he possibly could, and he's really trying to get everyone who he has problems with in trouble, because even now with putting Joe Budden's names and comments in this suit as well, we're seeing how Drake can be just as petty in his paperwork as he can be in anything else. And really, this is why all of this just feels so condescending and disrespectful to everybody who has to waste their time with this. And when it comes to this entire case just being so confusing and misguided, I mean, from Drake and his team literally citing and using fan pages that support him to try and defend their points, which is some of the things these people who are obsessed with Drake have
I can't believe that he's actually using Twitter fan pages in his court documents.
tried to do to help him. It's just some of the most out there stuff you will ever see. It's blatantly wrong, and you just can't put it in something like this. So even Drake just cherry picking information here to use whatever conveniently fits the narratives he is trying to push throughout this entire thing. And I mean, what I really think showcases how all of this paperwork that Drake is doubling down on in every single way is the most hypocritical thing he has ever done. Is that while trying to say all of these things about how Kendrick is ruining his image and name, I mean, first off, he says in the suit himself that despite Drake even saying that the NFL helped ruin his career with the Super Bowl and the halftime show, despite how bad everything is, he still has been able to release collabs with them literally right before the Super Bowl when we look at the NFL. And even with brands like Disney and The Simpsons, Drake and OVO have still been able to work with these massive icons after the beef, which despite how Drake wants to put it, I mean, none of these things stop Drake whatsoever from doing things with big names as a brand. And on this same point, and really even worse when we look at it, is that despite—
Exactly. So the point of defamation is that you have to show a loss of income. He still has brand deals. He still is like, so this defamation thing, like, he has to show that this affected him other than just getting embarrassed, you know? So it...
Despite what Drake is trying to keep saying here about how he has never been in a more awful place in his career and that he has no success whatsoever and that everything is terrible. I mean, while Drake has ruined his reputation and legacy as a rapper, and that's for sure, he still does have a song that has reached #2 on the Billboard and an album in SSS for You that, despite being a step down from what he used to do, I mean, the record has still done better numbers than most of what the industry can put up. And with this record and what Nokia have shown is that the public has not turned on Drake and that they clearly don't think the exact things that this paperwork is trying to push. Because again, while Drake has lost his entire reputation as a rapper and musician, there are numbers and charts that are showing that Drake is doing a lot better than he wants the people reading these papers to believe. And I mean,
Exactly.
honestly, with Drake trying to bend reality this much and then again play the victim here while at the same time trying to act like he is up to his fans and trying to act like he is the best rapper and artist still with everything that SSS for You and Nokia has done. I mean, it's just shameful to do this, and especially when you see how Drake is trying to drive all of his delusions home, which is now more than ever really sit and try to pile all of these narratives together to straight up twist the words of Kendrick Lamar in his song to definitively say the most strange and out there things about Drake as a person that would all try to make what he is doing seem more true. I mean, when you see how all of this builds to Drake and his team talking about how the owl at the end of Not Like Us, for example, is definitively meaning that Kendrick thinks that Drake is so bad and the stuff he is doing is so
Wow, they actually put that in the no way. Drake belongs behind bars. The video of the cage, no way. They actually, oh my god, no, god damn.
and the stuff he is doing is so real that this is where the song and Kendrick are saying that he belongs behind these types of things. I mean, first off, this is trying to say that an artist's intention, who I am sure they have not spoke to in Kendrick Lamar, is something that they don't know. And with this wrong interpretation, they are trying to twist the entire record to fit the weirdest ideas you could ever see. And I mean, with Drake just standing in all of this now, and even with the claims about the song's fake streams, he is now saying that that's a real thing and that's still going on, despite him seeming like he was pulling back on that. With Drake lining up all of these things and just bringing moments that were supposed to be about a rap back and forth to a place where now so many different names are involved, and he has just made this thing so messy in every single way. I mean, again, despite how people have tried to jump back on Team Drake with Nokia and SSS for You, even if Drake came out and dropped an amazing album, it means nothing, because for you to disrespect the art form that made you this much, that you are now taking rap lyrics and moments the way you are and all from an artist and his own competitive vision, and you're not just trying to falsely represent your peers' ideas to benefit your own, but then you are ignoring the rules of hip-hop to trick everybody even at this point. I mean, you can't be serious with this, and all of this is really just bringing hip-hop into such a bad place, because with us being here, and now even with some of the biggest moments in hip-hop ever like the Super Bowl, now Drake is dragging the NFL into things and wants to make weird narratives about that. I mean, it is all going to a bad place, but as we looked at earlier, as all of these claims and again moments that are trying to make issues for all of these other people and things beyond Drake's label now being thrown right into this. I mean, Drake's label is clearly about to expose a lot about him and just let everyone know what we can all see, which is of course that Drake is doing all of this for the most petty and pathetic reasons and not for what we are seeing
Because he
here.
lost.
And I am sure that no matter what Drake's label has on him and what they are going to let us know about the guy, it's not going to be good, because while they may have looked out for him for quite some time when he was on his run, it's clear that this is no longer going to last, and they are actually going to make sure that we all understand who Drake really is and what has been behind him for so long. And with this, it's actually wild that Drake's own desperation from losing a rap beef has brought him to this point where now his own label just told him to be careful for what he wished for as we go forward from here. And as we look back at all of this, I am sure that those words are going to become infamous as the very statement that was made before Drake's entire career and image was changed in a way that ruined every single thing. As now, with all that said, let me know.
Oh man, Drake is going to, boy, if this lawsuit actually like goes through and goes through trial, and there's a trial and there's a jury and there's a judge and discovery, like if this goes the length of that it needs to take to either find him innocent or guilty, and the information that is going to be exposed from that is going to be, whoo, boy, the information that the public is going to get if this trial, if this case actually goes through, it's going to be, oh boy, this is going to be insane. But UMG is like, all right, Drake, are you sure you want to do this? Because you over here trying to get information on Kendrick, nigga. We got information on you. Are you sure you want everybody to know what you're doing and how, whatever it is? Are you sure you want all this out? All right. Y'all leave a comment down below, man. It's your boy DMD. UMG sends Drake a scary message.